My chest tightened at the sight of that print. It was fresh, sharp in the mud. The storm not yet able to wash it away. Luz or Nova. One of them had been here moments ago. That meant the other was close. My breath caught, and for a second, I felt the faintest spark of hope against the cold downpour. I crouched low, my fingers brushing the edges of the mark. Touching it might bridge the distance between us. A second print followed, half swallowed by rain, then another, ding down the bank where the creek foamed white and furious. My throat went dry. They hadn't wandered, they'd been driven, step by step, toward the water. I heard it again. A bark sharper this time, desperate. My head snapped up. Through the blur of rain and whipping branches, caught a flicker of movement, tan fur against black stone. A puppy clinging to the bank, paws scrabbling, water lashing at his legs. "Hold on!" I shouted, though the storm tore my words away. My legs moved before thought could catch up. I splashed forward, mud grabbing at my boots, branches clawing my arms. The world narrowed to that trembling shape on the edge of the flood. Atlas, or Nova, was fighting with everything he had. Claws tearing into slick roots, body shaking with exhaustion. And just above him, wedged against a fallen log, the other pup was pressed flat, ears pinned, whining in a voice that was raw with fear. Together, they hadn't let go of each other. Something inside me broke and mended all at once. I dropped to my knees at the bank, reaching, stretching until my shoulder screamed. The current surged against my boots, trying to rip me down, but I locked my free hand around a branch, and refused to let go. "Come on, buddy, just a little more, come on." The first pup's paw slid, then caught in my grip. Wet fur, trembling bone, fragile weight of trust pressed into my palm. With a grunt, I hauled him up, his body flopping onto the bank, coughing water, sides heaving. His eyes, wide, glassy, still full of fight, found mine. And then, before I could breathe, the second pup let out a broken yelp and launched himself toward me, arms opened without thought. Two soaked, shivering bodies crashed into my chest, paws digging, noses pushing against my neck as if they couldn't believe safety was real. The storm still howled, but in that moment it felt muted, distant. All I could hear was the rasp of their breath and the small, stubborn thump of two tiny hearts refusing to quit. I pressed the damp collars into their fur. A parent might press a kiss to a child's forehead. "You're going home," I whispered, though my own voice cracked. "Both of you." Behind me, through the sheets of rain, a cry broke, not of fear this time, but of relief. Their owner was stumbling toward us, hands to her face, tears and rain mixing as one. And as those pups wriggled in my arms, alive and clinging, I knew the storm could take whatever it wanted from me, wasn't taking them. I pressed my ear to the roar, straining past the chaos for any sound that didn't belong to the water. Nova whimpered again, her voice trembling like a compass needle pulling me downstream. My boots dragged through the mud, each step sinking, but I kept moving because somewhere just ahead was the pup who hadn't answered yet. The creek thrashed against the stone, white foam boiling where the current funneled tight. If Atlas had been swept in here, there was no margin for error. My chest hammered as I scanned the churning water, every shadow and ripple tricking my eyes. Then, for one gut-wrenching second, I thought I saw nothing, only the wild spray of the flood. And then it came. A paw, just one, scrabbling out of the current, claws straining against a jagged rock, snapped out of me. He was there, half submerged, fighting the pull with everything he had left. Atlas. His head barely above the froth, ears slicked flat, wild but unbroken. I lunged forward, wedging Nova tight beneath my jacket with one arm while reaching with the other. The current yanked hard, pulling me down, but I locked my grip on a branch and stretched until my shoulder screamed fire. "Hold on, boy! Don't you let go now!" Atlas's paw slipped once, twice, and then his claws hooked into my sleeve. For one terrifying moment, it was just me and him and the storm trying to tear us apart. His body was heavy with water, but the strength in that pup's fight was bigger than the flood itself. With a grunt that tore through my throat, I hauled him free, collapsing backward onto the mud. Atlas hit my chest with a sodden thud, coughing, shaking alive. Nova wriggled at the sound, pressing her nose to his, the two pups whining into each other's fur as if stitching themselves whole again. I clutched them both, streaming down my face, not sure if it was storm water or tears. They were here. They were breathing. They hadn't let go of each other. I hadn't let go of them. The canyon rumbled with thunder, but for me, the world had gone quiet. Two small, trembling hearts beat against me, and in that moment, else mattered, chest. The sound shot ice through my veins. That branch had seconds left before it snapped clean, and if it did, no chance to climb back. I tightened my grip on both puppies, their slick fur pressed against me, their shivers sinking into my bones. Not today, I muttered through clenched teeth, voice swallowed by the roar. Not today. The river clawed higher, curling cold around my waist, trying to drag me loose. My boots slid, mud sucking and releasing with every desperate shift. Nova buried her muzzle against Atlas's neck, locked together, their tiny whimpers cutting sharper than the thunder. I braced one knee against the boulder, felt stone grind deep into skin, myself upright with every ounce of strength left. The branch beneath me groaned, fibers tearing like rope under strain. It was now or never. With a heave that ripped fire through my back, I lurched upward, shoving past the water's grip, cradling both trembling bodies against my chest. My balance wavered, sagged dangerously, but I clawed my way up the slope, digging fingers into mud, dragging myself toward firmer ground. The storm tried to shove me down, flinging rain in sheets, but every time my strength faltered, I felt two tiny hearts beating against me, stubborn, refusing to quit, and I found one more inch, one more surge. Behind me, the branch snapped with a crack like a rifle shot, plunging into the flood, echoed like a warning, no second chances. Somehow I reached the ledge. My knees hit solid ground, my chest heaving, the pups clinging with everything they had left. For a moment, I just stayed there, crouched against the stone, rain streaming down my face, my arms locked tight around them both, as if letting go would undo the miracle I'd just pulled from the river. Atlas coughed again, bark scraping from his throat, and Nova pressed into him, her tail giving the faintest tremor of a wag. That simple spark of reunion nearly broke me. They were alive. Against the storm, against the flood, against every brutal chance. They were alive. But the creek wasn't finished. Water spilled higher, foaming over rocks, licking at my boots again. Survival wasn't sealed yet. I staggered to my feet, clutching them both. Their combined weight heavier than any burden I'd carried. Yet light enough, compared to what losing them would have felt like. I turned toward the trail I'd come down, only to see it half vanished beneath the torrent. Roots and fence posts churned in the current where the path had been, back was gone. The storm howled like it wanted to erase every step I'd made. But in my arms, two loyal pups pressed closer, their trust anchoring me to the only truth that mattered. I couldn't fail them now. So I pulled my cap low, squared my shoulders, the canyon wall for another way out. Because bringing them home was no longer a hope. It was the only ending I could live with. B.